Ahmed, just Ben from Be Active Peterborough. So this is something I do with all of my clients, just to give them a little tiny bit of feedback on our last session, and also allow them to have something to hold on to, because these videos can be quite helpful. Also, my emailing is terrible, so it helps people to understand me a little better. So a couple of the points that we touched on when I spoke to you last, and I think the most important and powerful point to take from this video really is your challenge. Your first challenge was, I want you to try and go out there and find a food or anything really that you can associate with a win for you, or a step up, you feeling like you're moving forward, that makes you feel good. Whether it's your smoothies in the morning, which I will attach to this email, a list of just some cool smoothies and just some sneaky little ways of adding extra calories in, or just, like we said, some rice, a curry, this kind of stuff. But the big foundations of this whole message is, I need for you to start to try and concentrate on nutrition again. So I'm gonna when I see you next, I'm going to get you to go through a couple of things so we can establish a healthy range for you to be eating at, and we're going to gradually try to build you up to that. Things like making sure you're getting the right amount of carbohydrates for your age, weight and height, the right amount of proteins, the right amount of fats, vitamins, minerals, this kind of stuff. And I think because you're a smart guy, if you've got a little tiny bit of an idea of what's perfect and what's best, we can start building you up from a very low level and gradually building you up. So long term, you know where you're going. But for short term, you've got somewhere to aim for. Because at the minute, when you're just feeling like shit and just, what's the point? Everything's exaggerated. So if I try to, in your mind, everything's exaggerated and over the top. So if I try to get you eating, let's say, 2,000 calories a day, it's just way too far away. So it's important that we start with baby steps. But you know where you're going too. So I'll attach this video, just some simple lists for the smoothie, and that can be a step. Then we might start to be able to develop a little bit of a lunch. And here's the sneaky thing. If we can get your lunch developed and get you making your lunch, or we can get your tea developed and making your tea, they can both be the same thing. Manisha knows about this. One of the main things that I get all of my clients to do is to batch cook. I remember you mentioning last night about when you go and eat round your family's house, there's plenty of food, and you don't like to go with more than one portion because that's just you and that's the way you work. That's fantastic. Actually, it really helps us, because then you've got leftovers, and if you've got leftovers, that can be lunch tomorrow. And if you've got leftovers, that can be tea when you get home and just can't be asked because you've driven all the way from Nottingham. So that would be one of the clever tips that we start to use in the future. But right now, I think that smoothie would be a clever way of at least getting in half of the daily amount that we need for you. Because there is no rules, and I don't know if you knew this or not, but there's studies out there now that show that if you're capable of doing it, but if you have all of your calories in a day in one sitting, it doesn't really make too much of a difference whether you spread it out over 3 meals or just have it in one. So if you're supposed to have 2,000 calories, if we can get you a smoothie in the morning that equates to 1,000 or 1,500 calories, it's going to help. And that will develop up, and what will happen is it will stop all these feelings emotionally of what's going on in your life right now, and energy-wise feeling so exaggerated. Because what happens with me is I'm not always super up and I'm not always super down. I tend to just stay a bit middle ground, and we want to try and get you feeling like you're constantly winning with what you're going through with Manisha, but also you feel like you're level all the time. You're not drained all the time and bleh. We want to try and get you level and hold you there and keep you there, because what you're doing is simple and it's effective. So the next little note that I wanted to talk to you about was how to feel healthy again, what we're going to do to get you feeling healthy. So the first stage of this is, you talked about meditation. Well, I'm going to give you some core exercises as well, and I don't mean kind of six-pack core. I'm going to give you a couple of things that I'd like you doing in the space of your day. You can do them anywhere, at any time. And it's just going to get you to start to move again. But I don't know if you remember, I was discussing with you last night about how I managed to make myself finally move from my desk just here to actually getting into the gym. And it started with me having kind of a lot of stuff going on in my life. But physically I had some issues as well. I had some shoulder pain, I had some back pain, and it was from sitting at this desk just hunched all the time, just not even in a comfortable position, or driving, or slouched on a sofa. And none of them actually got me any energy. And we're always doing that. We're always resting, waiting for our energy to come back, and it doesn't happen. You have to nurture it and gradually build on it. So what I'm trying to say, Mohammed, is if I give you these nice exercises, they're going to just develop up as a nice, easy foundation, but they're also going to get away any aches or pains that you've got, or any kind of barrier physically that's stopping you from getting exercising as well. So then when your energy's ready to rock and roll, you've already got to jump on the competition. And they're that straightforward. You can do them anywhere. So you can do them in the bathroom at work. I'm not a crazy PT. I'm not going to get you doing push-ups in the bathroom, so don't worry. When I